I want to talk to Stockwell Day because he was our public safety minister for 2.5 years under Stephen Harper. Seems so long ago. It was a wonderful time to be a Canadian back then.
So
Um,
good.
but I want to talk to you about this because, as it turns out, thanks to a long and serious and hard Rebel News investigation, our Alexa Lavoie was able to uncover what appears to be an Antifa cell operating in the Canadian military out of Montreal. The man who threw the smoke bomb, allegedly, don't sue me, um, into the church where American singer Sean Foyt was holding a service, um, works for the DND. And then when Alexa confronted him with this, he summoned his fellow Antifa radicals and they assaulted her. Now, I've sort of put this in before the people who probably need to see it. I sent it to a couple of MPs that I know that are on SECU, on committee, but what should become of this? I mean, we have a military that has uh, adopted wokeness at what appears to be at all costs, and the liberals won't shut up about radical
Right.
right wing extremists infiltrating the military. But I do not believe that that is the real concern that they need to worry about here. Stockwell, I'll just ask you for your take because you were our public safety minister. What should be done about Antifa, especially knowing that it appears to have infiltrated our military?
Well, first on the military, and I had the honor of spending a lot of time across the country with our ladies and gentlemen in uniform. I did a couple of tours to Afghanistan, not trying to sound like I was a fighter there, because our troops took very good care of me there. We have some of the best troops in the
Mhm.
world. We really do. When I was in Afghanistan and working with the Americans and other military, they just couldn't praise our soldiers enough for their efficiency, for their valor, for their strength. So there will always be in any organization, there's going to be a tiny element that are unsavory. And if there's Antifa there, then they need to be drummed out of there in no uncertain terms. Antifa needs to be declared a terrorist group. The liberals, with every time we want a terrorist group named a terrorist group, when others around the world are labeling them that, the liberals have to be dragged kicking and screaming into labeling a truly terrorist group terrorist. Why is that? Because they lose voters from within those
Sure.
communities. So that's what it needs to be done. Liberals need to be far more aggressive. And the other thing, if you want to bolster the military, very interesting, you've probably seen it, zero coverage on CBC on one of the most dramatic military announcements you'll ever see in your life. And I'm not whether you agree with it or not, but in the US yesterday and the day before, uh, the announcement, all the generals were called in from across the country, 800 or 900 of them, and they were told there's two things that are coming to an end. First, DEI, this ridiculous policy that you would promote people based on gender instead of their strength and their killing ability. The purpose of a military is to deter or destroy the enemy, period. And they've laid down the law in the U.S. That was the first thing they're dealing with. And the head of their minister of war, I guess they call him now. What do you say to all the other thing they won't put up with anymore is fat generals. Now,
Yes.
people are, and I've seen some of the talk shows in the U.S. What has that got to do with it? The military, I'm sorry, but folks, if we ever get away from the aspect that it's about deterring or killing the enemy, if we ever get away from realizing that, we're in trouble. And the message is going to the US military is generals, get in shape because you've got to be good role models for the troops that are there. So Canada's upper echelons, I taught for a number of years at our military college. I gave a course there to our generals. And that's where I first had the glimpse of here we had the great soldiers, and now they've been promoted into general ranks. And other than what I was teaching them, I'm telling you, this was years ago. They were getting fed the most outrageous DEI garbage in what should be a military college at the university level, even before it was called DEI. I mean, I taught that course there, I think, for 3 years. I was astounded. And I said, this is not going to bode well for our military, that the generals are getting brainwashed on this stuff. Well, south of the border, they put an end to it. Canada needs to do that too.
Right
And
on.
mainstream media were horrified, so horrified that this might put a slowdown to DEI here that they wouldn't even report on it.
But have you seen the tampons in the men's room? Keith?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Keith, go ahead, because I know you gotta go.
Yeah, I would say this, that, what we've seen happen is that because the government funded media doesn't actually do investigations and journalism, Rebel
Mhm.
News does now. And the other thing that yesterday revealed, because one of the things I'm struck by is Alexa found this guy. There was a
Yes.
clear shot of him, but the police didn't.
Yeah.
So now Rebel News is also doing the investigations that the police are refusing to do because of their ideological alliances. So it's remarkable to me that that person who engaged in such an egregious, dangerous act, and it had a terroristic element to it, right?
Mhm.
Like it was ideologically driven. It was meant to disrupt a gathering in a church. It had a religious undertone, all of those characteristics. And there was such clear video of this guy's face that the police appeared to lift no finger. And in fact, if you watch the extended footage of Alexa's interactions with him, at one point, he goes up to a passing police car.
Mhm.
This shows the level of corruption of our institutions.
In fact, the police, I'll tell you behind the scenes, the police threatened Alexa with a harassment charge if she didn't leave the guy they weren't looking for alone. I watched that video like the Zapruder film. He was wearing the same New Balance running shoes.
The glasses. The glasses is what got me, Sheila. I mean, I was like, those are the same glasses as the picture and the guy that's walking with Alexa. Yes.
He's wearing the same running shoes he wore when he threw the smoke bomb into the church. And I agree with Stockwell Day, and I think we probably all are unanimous on the panel that Antifa must be declared an outlawed terrorist entity in this country. And it would sure be nice if the government quit funding the journalists who run cover for them on a day-to-day basis.
By providing access to job training and support, Work First Alberta helps job seekers change their story.